Hey everybody, welcome to
Sockeytome.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sockeytome, where we connect people to people, even if it does include shoddy police work. We're talking about Karen Reed and her trial, and John O'Keefe. Holy cow, what a nutball job this is!
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It is interesting already. It's like, who done it?
Who knows?
It's a live version of Clue.
It's true.
It's like killed him with the lightsaber in the
In the library.
in the, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, there were like three.
The conservatory is what I was thinking of.
Conservatory. Yep.
Conversation. Anyway, John O'Keefe was a police officer in Massachusetts, and he's dead. He died on January 29th of 22. Right?
Yep.
And they're trying to pin it on his, at that time, girlfriend.
Right.
Karen Reed, who, by the way, looks like she's guilty.
I don't
She looks like a friggin' psycho.
Okay.
She probably could have done it. I don't know. But there's a lot of twists and turns in this thing. This is way more interesting than Johnny Depp and Amanda Heard.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
This is like, oh shit, really, who done it?
Yeah.
You can't
because you
figure
don't
it out.
know. And because there are police involved, there's always that potential of they cover their own. You just never know.
Back your brother.
It's true.
Absolutely. It's stupid. But there are also times that accidents actually happen.
Yes.
So there's three different scenarios right there.
Yeah.
That we just talked about.
Very true.
So you could either had Karen Reed drilling him with her car.
Right.
Him being so drunk, he fell down, hit his head, and died of hypothermia.
Probably is.
Or
yeah.
him getting in a fight with Brian Higgins, getting his ass kicked, and they threw him outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I said Brian Higgins, right?
I think, yes. Yes.
Either way. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get started on how this all came to be.
I don't even know.
Yes, you do. Reed and O'Keefe were out drinking with a bunch of his cop buddies.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
At a bar.
Yes. And they had already been on the outs. I guess seems that they were not on the best of terms. But even said.
Which brings us to one of the scenarios.
Right.
She was sending flirty text messages to Brian Higgins.
Right.
Right? Which they don't talk about a lot here.
Which I guess is what, a friend of John's? Were they friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I wonder who initiated that, but okay.
It doesn't say. They don't tell us that part because they don't go into it that far.
Not really at all.
No.
You have to dig deep for that.
And we all know if you're sending flirty text messages to somebody else, there's pretty much something going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you've done it, you've been there and done that. If you haven't, good for you. You're better than we are.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm talking about the people that have done it. I've already said I have.
I know.
I never said you did. Weirdo. Anyway.
Whoa.
The night he died.
Yes.
They were at a bar in Canton, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And they went back to it was Brian
Albert's house.
Brian Albert.
Yes.
Right? It wasn't Colin Albert. Anyway, it was one of the Albert's house for a party, like an after party.
Right, and she didn't want to stay.
They were in a fight.
Yes.
She was screaming at him. They were in a fight.
Right.
I have my theories on this.
Sure you do.
I'll express them later.
You will share them.
But that's not here and now. So we're going to go and she dropped them off.
Right.
And then took off and left.
Yes.
At some point, it starts snowing.
Right.
And that's about 4:00 in the morning. Yeah. She dropped them off about 12:30.
Uh-huh.
So there's a good 3.5 hours before it starts snowing, right? And apparently nobody saw him ever.
Right. And I guess that's the biggest piece is if he was dropped off, even if he didn't make it into the house, between 12:30 and 4, I'm assuming some other people left this house. They didn't all stay for this party for the entire night. Maybe they did. But
you have to assume they're all intoxicated.
But nobody saw a person lying there on the ground?
Well, it says in the autopsy that John O'Keefe's blood alcohol level was 0.29.
What does that matter about somebody else seeing him, though?
It doesn't matter anything about anybody else except for the fact that if his is 0.29,
right?
What are everyone else's?
True. Okay. Good point.
If you're with people at a restaurant and you're getting that drunk,
yeah.
How drunk are these people?
Right.
Driving home.
I see your point. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I'm not saying they were over the legal limit. I'm not saying they were under the legal limit. But if that's what his was,
They're probably not under.
they're probably not much off from that.
Right.
Just law of averages, right?
Correct.
So I don't know what the hell happens to Karen Reed. She leaves, goes home.
I think she went home.
She went home and almost hits his SUV in the driveway.
How does anybody know that?
Because on his camera on his house, they can see her pulling in and almost hitting his SUV.
Okay.
But no taillight was found there. But taillight was found by John O'Keefe's body.
Yeah, the full chunk of taillight.
I think they took the whole taillight out and just laid it next to him.
I saw the size of the piece of taillight. It's interesting.
He died of blunt head injuries and hypothermia.
The hypothermia I get.
You have to be hunched over, puking on the ground to get drilled in the head by a taillight. Unless you're getting hit by a dump truck.
Just, even if she did hit him, I don't think it was intentional. It was she backed up, drove away. I don't know that she intentionally hit him. How fast could she have hit this person to have done that much damage to him?
She was mad. Women are a little impulsive. They do silly things at silly times.
Not the point.
Well, it is kind of the point. She could have gassed it in reverse. He could have been standing behind the car, not allowing her to leave because he wanted to talk to her.
Right.
And she could have been so pissed, she just gassed it and tried to run him over. Perfectly logical situation.
Yeah, I saw he had scratches and stuff too, like from animals, like...
They claim it was for a dog, but I think they threw that out.
Well, I think the owners of the house also had a dog.
They did.
Yeah.
So, here we are.
The other theory.
Well, the first one was that she killed him, right?
Right.
But I can understand the taillight breaking, but the taillight would be away from his body, I would assume.
I wouldn't assume it would land exactly where he was.
Otherwise, she would have had to have actually run him over.
Yeah.
For that to have happened, right?
I guess.
He could have also punched the taillight as she was leaving because he was pissed and they were fighting, broke it, fell in the driveway. He stumbled over, fell down, hit his head, and died.
Okay.
Of hypothermia.
Because he was out there all night, right?
Right. And animals came over and started picking at him. Because he was still warm at the time.
Happened quickly, apparently, there, but yeah.
Hey, look, I don't know. My thing is, they were fighting because he found out that she was sending messages to another officer.
Which you found. I had not heard that. So it's obviously not a known... Well, maybe it is. I haven't followed it that closely.
No, it's one of the things that's covered up in here.
Right.
It should have been more of an avenue.
You would think.
So it was Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, and Colin Albert that were the three people that could have been, that were suspects in killing him.
Outside of
Karen Reed. Correct. So here's Karen Reed sending flirty and sexy text messages to Brian Higgins.
Right.
Right? Who's there? Who's on the scene?
At this party.
Now, walks in, everybody's hammered. You start saying, hey, I was in a shouting match with my girl because you're sending her messages, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
A fight breaks out. Accidents happen. This guy's knocked out. They drop him in the cold and let him sit there till he wakes up. He don't wake up.
Right.
Now what?
Well, they're police officers.
So they can cover it all up.
Yeah.
Write their own scenario.
Which I shouldn't say, but
that's why
they have the ability.
That's why the text messages were never really focused.
Right.
In that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Higgins and John O'Keefe got in a fight because of those text messages. They beat the bejesus out of him, took him out in the snow, dropped him, and then blamed it on Karen Reed.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched the documentary and I've read up on this. There were some other things about it, but yes, it could go either way.
You've got to go from memory.
It does seem like possibly he went into this house and something happened. There was some altercation and they left him out in the snow.
And all three of them said he was never in the house. That's easy to do.
Of course. Everybody could agree that he wasn't there. Oh, we never saw him. Not here.
He was never here. Oh my God, he's dead in my front yard. But we have video of Karen Reed backing out of the driveway, dropping him off.
Right.
So you do know he was here.
So wait, so they had video of her actually dropping them off, him off, but they don't have video to see what actually happened to him.
They watched the video of her driving to see if she actually hit him. So yes, they did.
So how do they not know if she hit him or not?
I don't know. Because
Cut off.
and there's
Conveniently.
there's certain parts of it that you can't they lost.
Of course
They
they
lost
did.
Oh, they didn't preserve the tape.
Because it wasn't her then. That means that. Because she didn't delete that video.
She couldn't. It wasn't hers.
Wasn't hers.
She was too drunk to even take video.
Yeah.
And
She
it
was
doesn't
the one that found him. But
well, that gets me into the next part of this and why I think Brian Higgins is at the core of it.
really? You
Yes.
found that pretty quickly too.
Because they were sending messages back and forth.
Okay.
And I guarantee you, somehow, some way, one got back to him that he's outside, he's not moving. You got to do something. We'll
Ooh.
help you.
Okay.
And then they threw her under the bus. He didn't come home, and she's starting to freak out. Now she doesn't know what happened.
Right. So
Apparently, she
says,
can't remember what
obviously.
happens.
Right.
Now, all of this is most likely fabricated to make it look like everybody's innocent.
Well, right. I mean, nobody's going to own up to it. Right.
No, this is like an Agatha Christie whodunit. We need Perry Mason here. But that being said, somehow, I'm sure Brian Higgins didn't text her directly. I'm sure.
Not at that hour, no.
Unless they had burner phones.
It doesn't seem like they. From what I've read,
He was an
don't think
FBI
that's
agent.
a
He
thing.
definitely had a burner phone.
Okay, so maybe he did, but okay, it's possible. I don't really know.
Anyway, that being said, she comes looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not home yet. He's not home yet. How is he going to get home? His car was in his driveway with yours.
Yeah, I don't really know what.
How was he not just sleeping one off at
Yeah.
Albert's house?
I guess maybe she thought somebody was going to drive him back. I don't know, but he didn't get home.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Not only does she look crazy, I firmly believe she is crazy.
Okay.
She was in on it.
What do you mean in on it? I
She
don't know
was
that
in
it
on
was.
it.
I don't think it was planned. Do you think it was planned ahead of time? I don't think it was planned.
I'm not saying it was planned, but she was in on it. She knew. She knew Brian Higgins killed him.
Ugh, I don't know. I hadn't really thought that far into it.
And she's that crazy that she would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I thought, oh, she's called this guy 100 million times before she went out to look for him, and she's panicking. She can't find him. But I guess if she obviously knew he was already dead, she was the one that found him. Where she left him.
She found him.
She did.
At 5:07.
Right.
I have never been with anyone ever that has come to look for me when I'm not home at 5:07.
Yeah, that's a little early. I wouldn't come out that
7:30,
early.
8 o'clock. Now you start getting
Yes.
close. 9, 10,
Uh-huh.
absolutely.
Yeah, in the car, driving around. 5 a.m.?
Hell no.
Probably not.
Nope.
Now I'm just angry and
No, you're
maybe
all-
calling or probably sleeping, but at the same time, not out driving around looking for you.
You're all drunk and being stupid and trying to cover up your tracks.
Oh, I'm
That's what happened.
right. Okay.
They made a mistake. They screwed up. Their friend died. And then they covered it up.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours later.
They were all in on it.
And they just left her to be the one
It wasn't
to
murder.
take it.
It wasn't murder.
No, I don't think it was intentional. I don't think they meant to murder him.
It was manslaughter.
Well, yeah.
Higgins and O'Keefe definitely got in an altercation, i.e. fight. O'Keefe got lumped. That's why the blunt trauma to his head
Okay.
fell down in the yard, and they left him there. Then when he didn't come back in, they go, shit, and he's dead. Now what do we do?
We'll just leave and pretend we don't know he's there.
You don't get blunt trauma to the head from a taillight.
No, and like I said, how fast, if you even to reverse, how fast could she possibly have reversed into this guy? Hitting somebody head on, like you're driving down a street and they're crossing the street, you can hit them pretty hard, I guess. Backing up, like you dropped him off and you go to back up, how fast could she possibly have been going to back into this person?
Like I said when we started,
Not 90 miles an hour.
you just gas it. It's not 90 miles an hour, but you go as fast as you can.
But I guess that's, I don't know, the injuries seem way worse than what she could have done. And why is the taillight in a chunk?
Wouldn't it make sense that an ATF agent has a dog
Yeah.
that's trained to attack
Yeah.
with bite marks?
Yes.
So Higgins is the one that did it. 100%. And the Alberts were in on it.
Okay.
And then the former police chief died.
Yes, of cancer apparently, but yes, he did.
Cancer.
But a lot of people
Died of COVID.
So this is trial number 2 because the first one was what?
Hung jury. Because it's so screwy.
And a lot of people are not being invited back to testify again.
Which is crazy.
On the
Now what?
prosecution
So
side.
how do you even have another trial?
I don't know.
If you're not bringing back the key players,
Exactly. You've decided they're not useful?
why are you wasting everybody's tax dollars? Which
But-
gets us back to the justice system and the police, which I got a lot to say about.
Oh, yeah. Always.
They can cover up whatever they want,
Yeah.
and they can do whatever they want, and they can screw with your life, and they do. Again, your best bet is just not to talk to them.
Right.
If their mouth is moving, they're like credit card companies, and they're lying to you. They are lying.
Uh-huh.
They're not your friend. They don't want to be your friend. They look at you as a criminal, no matter what.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way they're going to put it. So you try and give them everything. Yeah, oh, yeah, I'll be helpful. Just look at them, give them a finger, and say, suck my cock.
Jeez.
Well, that's what it's getting to at this point in time. And it's crazy. And the fact that they can go this far and cover everything up, cover their tracks,
Right.
and make everything look like something didn't happen or happened in a different way, makes you question the entire legal system.
Correct.
Anytime there's a police officer involved, any judge has got to be under the assumption that they've doctored statements.
You do realize the judge is also somehow related to the family that owns that house.
That's why he's not allowed to be investigated.
She?
No,
Oh,
it's
the judge is
Brian-
Beverly something.
Brian Albert and Colin Albert.
Yeah. Okay.
Colin Albert cannot be indicted in the murders.
But why?
It didn't say. Shocking. It didn't tell you why.
But right, the deciding judge who's going to decide this woman's fate,
What was her name? Canone?
Beverly something.
Let me just look it up real quick.
But they said that she somehow has some sort of relation with people that were at that party that night. She should not be the judge.
She was.
If that's true.
She should not be the judge. That's correct.
She should have recused herself and that should be it.
From day one.
Yeah,
So therefore, it should be a mistrial no matter what.
correct.
Mistrial.
But somehow, there she is.
And
So
that-
maybe it's wrong.
Therefore, we come back
we
around.
are reading information on the internet. I could be wrong. That maybe I'm not correct. But
Well, what way do they want us to read this? That's why this is confusing
exactly.
and compelling. It's
Yeah.
because they're not trying to spin it in one person's favor.
No, they're really not.
And within 5 minutes of reading it, I had Higgins,
You did, yeah.
which no one has said at all.
No,
I mean, he's one of the 3 suspects besides Reed,
outside of her, right?
and yet nobody said anything about him. He's only mentioned about twice.
Yeah, I
In
had not
anything.
heard that name. And I watched the documentary and everything.
He had flirty messages.
Yeah, I had not seen anything about that. So that's definitely news.
Flirty messages was the kiss of death.
Right.
Because if you say flirty messages, there's pictures, there's naughty things, and there's something
Right.
going on.
True.
I know this because I did it.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And that's what happens. And if you're exchanging flirty messages,
Right.
look, I don't exchange flirty messages with very many people.
Okay.
When I do, it's because I'm flirting with you.
I mean,
Otherwise,
right?
I don't even answer or respond.
that's true. You don't respond to a lot of things.
So, if you're responding with flirty messages, you're looking for something and you want to. And that's what that means.
Right.
And she's doing it with Brian Higgins. That's why they got in the fight in the car. Guarantee you, something was happening in that bar they went to with Brian Higgins.
Okay.
Dancing too close, talking too flirtatiously, whatever.
Right.
They got in a fight in the car on the ride home,
Uh-huh.
on the ride back to the Albert's house. And that's what set all of this in motion. And
Could be right.
nobody will say anything because
Police cover their own.
it's a po-po.
Yeah.
They will make up anything. They will use, it's incredible what was written about my own particular case
Right.
that wasn't fucking true,
Right. I know.
right?
Yeah.
They will write anything they fucking want.
Uh-huh.
They can't take statements over the phone, but they will literally write
What you said on the phone.
I called Dedo, and he told me this over the phone. It's illegal to do that. Yeah, they do it. That's how brazen they are.
Right.
And these are the rights that you don't understand that you have.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is I called the local police department and said, hey,
Ask them.
can you take statements over the phone? She's like, no, we're not allowed to.
Right. Yeah.
And when I asked them if I could press charges, they said, you have to come down here and make a statement. I was like, why? You're on the phone with me right now? Oh, we can't take statements over the phone.
Right.
That's so dumb.
Yeah. So in this whole situation, I think that's kind of why I question, like, is Karen Reed? Who knows?
Karen Reed is
She
involved.
may be
Karen-
involved. She may just be a victim of, like, she's not close enough with all these police officers.
Karen Reed is involved and they put her there. Not only that, but let me say one thing. I've heard horrifying stories of the Massachusetts State Police from a very reliable source.
Okay.
It's incredible. And what happened here,
Yeah.
if you can't read into it,
Okay.
they've all been fired.
Yeah. That's
All the people involved with this have been fired from the Massachusetts State Police
kind of crazy.
because they protected their own. And that's how that went.
Right.
But, all right. There's another episode in the books.
Wow.
Huh?
Look at that.
We'll get to more of it. Let's see what happens with Karen Reed.
It's a big thing right now.
I bet you that she didn't know what was going to happen, but she knew it had happened first and then went and tried to help cover it up. That's my point in this.
Okay.
She didn't do it. She didn't kill him, but she knew about it. She altered statements, evidence, and all that stuff.
Oof. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. 'Cause
Okay.
it was Higgins. That's my take on that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say
An
about
interesting
that.
one, but okay.
And that's the bottom line. No, I'm not going there. That's stone cold. But anyway,
Oh,
we're at the
boy.
end. We're at the end of the episode.
All right.
All right, guys. Case, thanks for being here.
Always.
Nice to have you back finally.
Oh boy, here we go.
But all right, guys. As always, be good. Hey everybody, it's Dedo. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Larry over at Legendary Graphics. He designed our logo for us. Came out fantastic. He does wraps. He does all kinds of customized stuff for you. If you get a chance, go to legendary.com. That's legendary.com. Check it out for anything you need. All right, guys. Thanks. Be good.
Sockeytome.
Hey everybody, it's Dedo. Thanks for checking out the show today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe to us. We can hook up, interact. You can tell us what you like about the show. Talk about what you don't like about the show. Give us information and insight. We'd appreciate it. We only want to make the show better for you guys. Also, if you get a chance, head over to sumassembly.net. That's our sponsor, and he could really use some business. All right? As always, everybody, be good.
Sockeytome.